Hello, and a warm welcome to the program. I'm Melinda Akinlami. Our focus today is on the North Central, but first, our top stories. The money laundering trial of former Governor of Ekiti State, Ayodele Fayose, could not proceed today due to the absence of the trial judge, Justice Chukwujeku Aneke of the Federal High Court, Lagos. Justice Aneke was said to be away on an official assignment, and the case was subsequently adjourned till July the 1st for continuation of trial. Mr. Fayose is being prosecuted by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, for an alleged 6.9 billion naira fraud and money laundering charge. He was first arraigned on October the 22nd, 2018, alongside his company, Sportless Investment Limited, on an 11-count charge bordering on fraud and money laundering offences. Armed bandits have attacked Dauran and Zumi town headquarters of Zumi local government area of Zamfara state on Wednesday night. 3 people were killed and 8 others abducted. The bandits also razed down the telecom mast, shutting down the network service in the area. The spokesperson of the State Police Command, ASP Yazid Abubakar, confirmed the incident to Channels Television this morning. He said that the 3 persons were killed while 1 person was abducted. A resident told Channels Television that the bandits invaded the town around 9 p.m. Wednesday after kidnapping 5 people in Dauran town. The Minister of Interior, Mr. Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, says the federal government is already considering the relocation of the Medium Security Custodial Center, Suleja, Niger State. This is after 119 inmates escaped following a heavy downpour which destroyed parts of the facility on Wednesday night. The rainstorm not only destroyed parts of the building but exposed the facility's inner fence protecting one of the cells where the inmates were kept. Mr. Tunji-Ojo, who went on an inspection of the facility, says it's meant to house 250 inmates, but as of yesterday, 499 inmates were kept in the facility, out of which 119 escaped, but 13 of them have been rearrested. The spokesman of the FCT Command of the Nigeria Correctional Service, Adamu Duza, added that the service has immediately activated its recapturing mechanisms in conjunction with other sister security agencies. A correspondent reports that Calm has since returned to Suleja town while a search is ongoing to recapture the other escapees. The renewed killing of farmers across rural communities in Benue, the Middle Belt Forum has called on Governor Hyacinth Alia to resolve all political differences with the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Mr. George Akume, who they believe can help mobilize support to halt the killings of indigents. The president of the forum, Mr. Bitrus Pogu, recalled how the former governor asked the people to defend themselves and their farm culture being the food basket of the nation.
Farming communities in Benue and other parts of Nigeria's north-central region have for the last decade suffered multiple attacks by bandits, killing many and sacking thousands from their ancestral farmland and homes. Today, the story of how the region fought back to keep her land amidst rising conflict is being told at a public lecture by leaders of the Middle Belt Forum, as those present say the law banning open grazing in Benue is sacrosanct for the preservation of lives.
Anybody from Benue who will be playing game with open grazing prohibition is playing not for all, but is playing with me and you. We're supposed to be somewhere discussing together with Oto how we can walk away and protect.
The event is put together by the leadership of the Middle Belt Forum to celebrate former Governor Samuel Ortom.
We should remember the primary objective of government by our constitution is security and welfare of the people. That he carried on throughout his life, and till today we can say yes, he is the vanguard of that struggle.
Since the farmer header conflict was the primary source of insecurity in Benue State during his tenure, Ortom faced it squarely He adopted several tough measures to arrest the development and redeem all ungovernable spaces in the state.
While the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Mr. George Akume, who is represented, saying Mr. Otom did his best to keep Benue safe, the former governor advised his successor, Governor Hyacinth Alia, to work out issues with the SGF in the interest of Benue State.
On so many occasions, we had disagreements, but on more occasions, we accepted the path towards unity, progress, and development. On this day of your birthday, Your Excellency, I wish you good health of body and mind, with a renewed zeal to keep contributing to the consolidation of our democracy.
It is important on this occasion to also return some words to him. Please, is the father of the state. Benue State have never had an opportunity to have an SGF. A governor must shift his work and find ways of working with SGF so that all of us can enjoy the dividends of having an SGF and having a governor in Benue State.
The public lecture ends with the presentation of a book on leadership and legacy of Mr. Otom for the North Central regional leaders to draw inspiration to contain rising insecurity.
The African Youth Growth Foundation is calling on the federal and state governments to prioritize investments in malaria control programs, including ensuring that mosquito-treated nets are available for vulnerable population. Additionally, the foundation is urging the government to speed up discussions regarding the newly approved malaria vaccine. It's World Malaria Day, and the disease remains a significant cause of mortality in Africa, resulting in over 100,000 deaths annually in Nigeria alone. This is despite the many initiatives of government to curb the menace, including the rollback malaria program.
April the 25th of every year is set aside by the World Health Organization, WHO, to mark World Malaria Day. And this news conference in Abuja is just to highlight key demands on the Nigerian government as it prepares to mark the 2024 edition.
You stated quite a number of
According to the WHO, 249 million cases of malaria were reported in 2022, and 76% of these cases were children under 5 years. The disease has accounted for an estimated 608,000 deaths in Africa alone. In Nigeria, 68 million cases and 194,000 fatalities were recorded in 2021, making it one of the deadliest diseases in the country.
Estimated 4 out of 5 malaria-related deaths in the African.
At this pre-World Malaria Day news conference, participants are asking the government to urgently scale up malaria interventions.
We are calling on the government to prioritize investment in malaria programming and implementation in the country. We are appealing to Nigerians to adopt best practices in preventing malaria within their neighborhood.
Over the years, the Nigerian government has rolled out strategic plans to eliminate malaria. Some of these interventions include the inauguration of End Malaria Council in 2022, Rollback Malaria Program, the National Malaria Elimination Program, and several other strategic plans. Aside from these interventions, the federal government also, in August 2023, gave approval for the use of the R21 malaria vaccine.
The R21 malaria vaccine dossier complied substantially with best international standards. It was also adjourned that the vaccine's known potential benefits outweigh the risks. The Joint Review Committee recognized the importance of an effective malaria vaccine that has 75% protection as an additional interventional tool as a critical need in Nigeria that has the highest malaria burden.
However, almost 1 year after the approval was given, the vaccines are nowhere to be found, and malaria continues to kill Nigerians in their numbers.
For more on malaria control in Nigeria, Dr. Usman Zakari, the Chief of Party Partners in Healthcare and former Kogi State Health Commissioner, joins us now from Lokoja, the state capital. Pleasure having you with us on the program.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
Now, Dr. Zakari, can you tell us some of the key challenges hindering the effective implementation of malaria control programs in the country? Dr. Zakari, can you please begin by telling us some of the key challenges that are affecting the implementation of malaria control programs in the country?
Okay, decades, close to about 70 years since. Can you hear me?
Clear. Please continue.
Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, please. Do continue.
Okay, thank you so much. Some of the challenges, basically, we need to categorize the challenges into that of availability, that of implementation, and all of that. So basically, the challenges facing malaria prevention program, one of them is the inequities in the availability and distribution of malaria prevention items. Example is the long-lasting insecticidal net. Nigeria is estimated to be over 220 million in population, and because of that, the resources are not adequate to go around. And where the resources are around, the logistics, supply chain logistics, some places are hard to reach communities. So there are inequities in the distribution of some of these malaria control items, like the long-lasting insecticidal net. Another one is, malaria control is a multi-agency, everybody's business. It's not restricted to the health sector alone. And because of our practices as Nigerians, because of our disregard for environmental cleanliness, some of the vector for this malaria transmission breed in dirty environments. They also breed in areas where there are collection of stagnant waters and water that doesn't flow seamlessly. So one of the other challenges is that of our practice as individuals and as government. Because if you look at the concerted effort towards malaria prevention, apart from long-lasting insecticidal nets, there's also the clearing of the vectors by removing stagnant water, removing the bush around, places of habitation. Also, the indoor residual spraying, and of course, the treatment of active malaria cases. So one of the challenges, apart from that of supply, is also that of skills. If the health sector is classified into both tertiary, secondary, and primary, and most of the first contact of most people seeking healthcare is at the primary healthcare centers, and many of our primary health centers, except since the advent of the basic healthcare provision fund, have actually they are understaffed, and most of the people there do not have the adequate skills to manage ongoing cases and to also prevent malaria cases. So also there's the issue of policy and political will. It's a good thing that a lot of things are changing now. The current president of the country has demonstrated a lot of political will. And we have a coordinating minister of health who has come out very clearly and who has demonstrated in no small measure that he is ready and the political will is there. And I think we are about getting it right for the first time in terms of policy, in terms of supply of commodities, and equipping and training those who should help with the malaria prevention.
Okay, Dr. Zachary. Now, quickly, if you can just tell us, as a foundation advocating for malaria control and prevention, what role do you envision civil society organizations and other stakeholders, what do you think they can do in complementing government's efforts in this regard?
Thank you very much. They play a very, very important role. Civil society organizations are like the core members of the advocacy group. One of the things is, first of all, getting them to understand what it requires, for malaria prevention, for malaria control, and of course, advocating for political will, advocating for participation of all. It's an interministerial and all sector affair. So if in the news that we listened to earlier, AYGF is one of those organizations, and they have already come out clearly to say that there's a need for commitment. They can advocate for increased funding for health, and particularly malaria control. I mentioned earlier that one of the challenges is that of inadequacy of control commodities, that of inadequacy for supply chain as far as the last mile distribution. And because of that, civil society can actually advocate to government to commit, they can advocate to corporate organizations to also commit to the financing of malaria prevention and control program. And of course, some of these international partners and donor agencies who are also ready and available to help.
Okay.
And beyond that, beyond the funding, they could also monitor to the last usage of the items donated and the fund to ensure that they get to the right places for implementation.
Okay, Dr. Usman Zachary, thank you so much. A pleasure sharing your thoughts with us on the program.
The pleasure is all mine. Thank you so much.
Welcome back. The Nasarawa state government has launched a crackdown on illegal mining, stepping up enforcement of Executive Order number 02 of 2022. The executive order is to protect mining communities from exploitation by illegal mining entities. In a joint operation with security agencies, the state government, represented by the Commissioner of Environment and Natural Resources, Mr. Yakubu Kwanta, says it has successfully shut down an illegal mining site.
The Nasarawa state government, recognizing the need for all communities endowed with mineral resources in the state to be protected from infiltration of unidentified entities, individuals, undocumented aliens, mostly the propensity and capacity for mischief and criminality, and in certain cases, inducing tension, dispute, restiveness, and disagreement between communities and individuals, leading to breakdown of law and order. To prevent such scenario from occurring, His Excellency Engineer Isile, the Executive Governor of Nasarawa State, signed into law the Executive Order number 02 of 2022, which particularly provides that all community consent and development agreement made pursuant to Section 116 of Mineral and Mining Act 2007 and prior to signing by authenticated community heads shall be forwarded to the Ministry of Justice by the Ministry of Environment and Natural Resources in the state to vet and certify by the Attorney General of the state.
Over 200,000 artisans have registered under a Skills Up Artisans program. Adequate training, especially in technical skills acquisition, has been identified as key for the development of the national economy and possible export. At the annual Merit Award ceremony at the fund's headquarters in Jos Plateau State, the Director General of the Industrial Training Fund stated that the Industrial Training Fund has commenced data collection of artisans, with many registered so far.
It's a gathering of staff of the Industrial Training Fund for the annual Merit Award, which provides a platform to review the previous year, celebrate and recognize outstanding staff and stakeholders, and also make projections for the year. The fund is committed to a transformative initiative that will drive national development in the area of employment and poverty alleviation, ensure availability of skilled artisans workforce for domestic industries, and create a sustainable pipeline for labor export.
Skill Up Artisan Super is a transformative initiative committed to upskilling, licensing, and empowering 5 million Nigerian artisans in a year. This will be carried out by collating data of Nigerian artisans that may undergo training where required, certification and licensing for better job opportunity both locally and internationally.
One of the fund's initiatives is the Skill Up Artisans program, and the Plateau State government gives full assurance of its support to enhance training and human capital development in the state.
We'll crave the indulgence of the Director General to partner with us, become one of our sponsors, so that as those who be coming from different sections of the science and innovation within Plateau State to showcase what they've been able to do, it could also become an opportunity for you to pick one or two from those that you'll be able to identify and then help in projecting the agenda or possible agenda that could come up as a result of these interactions.
State governments, the organized private sector, non-governmental organizations are expected to collaborate with the Industrial Training Fund to boost individual states' economies and the larger national economy.
The First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, has distributed 500,000 naira each to 20 female farmers in Kwara State to boost their businesses, especially when it comes to farming. She also distributed 50,000 exercise books to primary and junior secondary school students under the Renewed Hope initiative.
The Renewed Hope initiative of First Lady Senator Oluremi Tinubu covers health, agriculture, social investment, and education. In Kwara State, 20 female farmers have benefited from the initiative's agricultural support program. The wife of the Kwara State Governor, Mrs. Olufolake Abdulrazak, presents a check of 500,000 naira to each of the beneficiaries on behalf of the First Lady.
I commend sincerely the Renewed Hope initiative of the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Her Excellency Senator Oluremi Tinubu, OON, and I congratulate you all for being beneficiaries of this very laudable gesture. This exercise no doubt aligns with the Kwara State government's commitment to promoting agriculture and boosting food production, and on a broader scale, national agenda to strengthen the agricultural sector in the country. This is evident in the many interventions of the state government in the agricultural sector.
50,000 notebooks are also given to primary and secondary school students to help curb the number of out-of-school children.
Come over here.
Today's event speaks to the premium placed on education by the Kwara State government under the leadership of His Excellency, the State Governor, Malam Abdurrahman Abdurazak, and as such, the distribution of these school items will no doubt help students and save parents and guardians the cost of purchasing these items as schools resume. We are indeed grateful to the First Lady of Nigeria for this laudable gesture.
Let me particularly commend Her Excellency Senator Oluremi Tinubu, CON, the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, for her initiative in the education sector. The primary and junior secondary education is the compulsory and minimum educational level of attainment in Nigeria. This is a foundational level that is sensitive and it needs to be strengthened. The significance of this educational level makes this program more unique and well embraced.
According to the organizers, vulnerable students will be prioritized in the distribution of the exercise books.
An appeal has been sent to the federal government to look into some of its abandoned projects which have direct bearing on human activities in Kogi State, especially the General Hospital at the Kotonkape local government area. The traditional ruler of the kingdom, His Royal Majesty Saidu Salihu, stated this when he received the member representing Lokoja Koto Federal Constituency, Honorable Danladi Aguye, and some other top government officials at his palace.
The lawmaker representing Lokoja Koto Federal Constituency at the House of Representatives is in Kotonkarfe local government area of Kogi State with some officials to inspect the hospital project initiated by the former House member in the 8th Assembly, the late Honorable Buba Jubril, who died on March the 29th, 2018. But first, they pay homage to the first-class monarch of the area, the Ohimege of Kotonkarfe, who says the infrastructure cannot be allowed to lie fallow because of its importance and usefulness to the community.
In fact, the seeming abandonment of that project was a serious embarrassment to the people and leadership of the state.
They moved to the project site, a structure designed to be a general hospital, and was in fact completed and equipped shortly before the unfortunate demise of the lawmaker representing the area. And in the passage of time, equipment inside the facility have been looted, and an aide to the late lawmaker speaks to this.
Some people will just cross over the fence. If you go back there, you will see where they cut the barbed wire. They cross over the fence, remove the ACs, some plasmas, and what have you from there.
Another project initiated by the late Buba Jibril is this proposed hospital structure built to serve the people of Kabawa community in Lokoja metropolis. The hospital is now being leased to some individuals who have converted it to a similar purpose, a school called Conference College of Health and Technology Limited. The lawmaker currently representing the area promised to push for the completion of the structures, one of which is also meant to be a rehabilitation center for drug addicts.
There's money already released for primary health care cut across the country. That to tell you that I have serious passion to rehabilitate all the health sector in Nigeria. And I'm very sure with this, they are going to really support me to see how we can bring all these hospitals back to life. It's a rehabilitation center that you put to use. It's going to serve so many people cut across the southwest, southeast, and north central.
Kogi residents are, however, optimistic that with the intervention of the federal government, the projects will be revived for the benefit of the general public.
That's the program today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Melinda Akinwami.